Welcome back to our live coverage of the EU summit. Although the bloc has faced some very serious crises over the last 2 years, this time it's quite different. The EU's second largest economy is leaving the bloc, setting a precedent that has never happened before. The European Union and the United Kingdom itself are in uncharted waters, and nobody can really predict what is coming next. Let me welcome now my next guest here in the studio in Brussels, Stella Ladi from the Queen Mary University of London. Welcome. So tell us, what is the future of Europe after this Brexit?
That's a difficult question. Nobody knows yet. Well, what we had yesterday, which is a sign, is a common statement from the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Germany and France, where they're setting three main areas that we should be developing and trying to work closer together. So this is security, thinking of terrorism, immigration, and the Eurozone. So they're trying to show that there is an urgency to work together for a closer union and not to let this British vote spoil the whole European integration process. So this is where we are now. Now, whether the rest of the member states will agree and to what extent, this is to be seen. Studying this document a little bit closer, what I find a little bit worrying is that it talks quite a few times about the possibility of having a group of members working as a team outside the whole EU. So we're talking about this, what we were always worried about is that probably we will have different speeds within the EU. So this is already obvious in this text, but this is not a formal agreement, it's just what the two ministers discussed and thought are the priorities. So it sets the tone, but it doesn't mean that it is a final document that certainly has not agreed by all member states.
Mrs. Merkel said we're not going to negotiate with the United Kingdom before they trigger the Article 50. President Hollande, what he said is that they have to act now, immediately. So there is a disagreement there. What finally would happen, you think?
And I don't think there is a disagreement. I think Hollande was saying that he wishes that the negotiations start very quickly, but I think everybody unanimously has said that in order to start the negotiations, there has to be, first of all, the move from Great Britain to say we want to start working under Article 50. So I think that the disagreement is probably more with the UK, because they want to delay this process a little bit, because they want Cameron made clear that he cannot be the one to do the negotiations. So he wants a new leader for the Conservative Party to come before they start. And when he resigned, he made clear that this is not going to happen too quickly, but it will be September, October. Now they say September, beginning of September, they said today. So this is what the differences between the UK and the rest of the European partners. I think it's normal that the European partners want this to start as soon as, because they want stability. They want to give a message to the markets, to the other member states, that the process has started.
So, Mrs. Ladi, you are working in the university in London. How was the next day after the referendum, after this result about the Brexit? What your colleagues or your students were telling you?
Well, for us it was a very early start, because we had a breakfast, an open breakfast, to discuss the results with the public and the students. So we had the experts of the university presenting their thoughts. I think most people were not expecting this result, and they're still trying to understand the consequences. I think there was more hope that there would be a close Remain vote. So now people are worried, of course, for their immediate future and what this means for a lot of them, like students and colleagues that are coming from different European countries like myself. But also for the British colleagues, it's equally worrying, since all their funding is, well, not all, but a lot of their funding is coming from EU resources. They're used to very international environments. But this tells us that there are huge divisions in society, because it's completely different what you see at the university sector, which was pro-Remain right from the start, almost in its totality, and what is happening in the countryside, in the working class areas, in the industrialized areas where they had a very high Brexit vote, and probably they are celebrating. I wouldn't be able to say since I'm in London, and London has been voting for Remain, so it's much more worried about the future of the city, of academia, of international business in general.
Do you think that the EU leaders, the rest EU leaders, have realized, in fact, what happened and what they have to do from now on? Or we can say that we are in front of a possible collapse of the whole project?
No, I don't think we would be seeing a collapse of the whole project. We didn't see that during the Eurozone crisis. We're not going to see that now. I think they all had in mind the possibility of a Brexit vote, and that's why they're trying to make firm declarations of unity and of continuation. Now, what will happen in member states with the opposition parties? We saw today in the European Parliament a very heated debate, and especially the more extreme right-wing parties were cheering. We have to wait and see how this is going to go down to the people and whether this is going to push for more skepticism around Europe.
So let's see what is happening over the coming months. Thank you very much for your analysis and your time, of course.
Thank you.
A lot of questions are being raised after UK citizens decided they no longer want to stay in the European Union. The EU leaders will start looking for answers, not only for the future relationship with the United Kingdom, but also for their own citizens. That's all for now. Stay tuned on Euronews and Euronews.com for all the latest developments. Thank you for watching.